Hey folks, John Cantera, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, and welcome to another episode of Stop the Scam. We've got one of our favorite guests visiting us today. Danielle Spinelli is going to be on here talking about some stuff that's going on. Y'all might want to check this out. Welcome to the Double Broker Bounty Hunters Stop the Scam. Here are your hosts, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, John Cantera, and Dispatch Caitlin Price. Queen on a Monday. I got to tell you, Kate, I found, most of you don't know, I'm getting up there. You can see the salt and pepper. And I had to move my storage locker last weekend. So I rented a U-Haul, ended up loading it up 3 times and moving everything from point A to point B across town. I mean, it's saving me like $300 a month in storage costs, so it was worth it. But oh my God, I picked the hottest time of year to do it, and I found muscles I haven't used in 20 years. Oh my God, I hurt everywhere. I want to crawl back into bed and die for about 2 weeks, and then maybe you can talk to me again.
Go for it, bud.
Crappy dispatch day. That's neither here nor there.
Why?
How you doing, Kate?
Why your day crappy? I want to hear about your day.
Oh man, I've got a few trucks running today that I've been dispatching, and every single one of them has had some form of cancellation. I had a driver who apparently was supposed to leave last night, Georgia, going to Ohio to drop this morning, and he suffered a medical emergency.
We lose you?
Okay, there we go. I'm back. Sorry about that.
Your face was still there, but you were frozen. So
yeah, were you able to hear me?
I heard that driver suffered a medical emergency, and nothing else.
Yeah, he was still in Georgia. He was just getting to the truck, and an ambulance met him at the truck. So had to cancel his load for today. I had another driver running a 40-foot hotshot, brand new freaking trailer. He fed his straps onto the trailer yesterday, left this morning to go make his pickup. And once he got loaded, he went to pull the straps, but the release lever on all the reels, all the way around that flatbed, were too close to the frame, so he couldn't release the straps at all. So he can't secure the load. So I had to cancel his load for today. And then I had a load for tomorrow get canceled on me already for a third truck. So it's been a day of cancellations, which really, really sucks. How about your day?
My day has been good, actually. So, yeah.
Nah, you know I like it.
Saw that come in. It's been easy, actually. Pretty easy. Yes, last week sucked. I had one of my drivers was in Iowa, and Iowa's one of those places that used to be pretty all right, but it's not anymore. Not anymore. Awful. It doesn't matter where. Like at one point he went to Cedar Rapids, which is like really not a bad place, or at least it didn't used to be, and it sucks ass now, in case you were wondering.
I did all right last week. All of my guys ran well last week. I think it was because it was an inspection week. Less traffic on the road. Rates were a little better. It turned out to be a decent week for me, all things considered. But there is so much going on. Lots of crazy stuff happening right now. Guys, this is a crazy world when it comes to fraud. I mean, we are seeing all different kinds of problems. We're seeing double brokering increasing exponentially. We are seeing cargo theft increasing exponentially. And something's got to be done. And hopefully through the Freight Fraud Task Force, we'll be able to make that stuff happen. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into the meat of this because I know our guest has a limited time frame to spend with us, but we do still have to show love to our sponsors. Whether you are new in the industry or you're a veteran, managing your costs is one of the most important things you can do, and no app helps you do that better than AccuBid Pro.
Tired of spending hours bidding on loads and second-guessing your profits? Introducing AccuBid Pro, the mobile app designed for the everyday owner-operator. We simplify load bidding, making it fast, accurate, and stress-free. Know your operating costs up front to ensure every load is profitable. Plus, for a limited time, enjoy a 30-day free trial. Stop guessing and start earning. Download AccuBid Pro today, available now in the App Store. Bid better with AccuBid Pro.
And joining us now is Danielle Spinelli of Descartes. Most of you know her as the Fraud Girl, and now with her new podcast, is it Tell Me Everything? This is it's been an exciting time for you. How is it going with your new podcast?
It's going really good. I did not realize how much work it was, but it has been really fun. So I'm waiting to get like good enough at this where I can do it live like you do it. Because right now I'm like editing a lot and it's a lot of work, but it's really fun.
I got to tell you, we never did an edited show. Everything we've always done is live, and it is so much easier. So much easier.
I feel like I need to switch to that, but I don't know. I'm being like a perfectionist and I don't know. I'm being weird. It's my fault. Nobody else's.
Oh, it's okay. You know, you do you. You know, you've always been good at everything you do. We know, and your show seems to be starting off. Seems to be hitting it off pretty well.
Yeah, it's going well.
Do you have an ad on Descartes' website for it or something? I mean, just to get the instant traffic going.
No, nothing. I don't have any sponsors or anything. I'm hoping to not have any for a long time because I'm trying to make it where it's nothing about certain product here and there. I try not to even talk about my product that much, but it's kind of hard not to. But yeah.
Well, one, you love what you do, so
yeah.
I mean that right there, everyone knows what you do because you love it so much.
Yeah.
Kate and I, we did not have a sponsor until we've been doing this for over a year. So yeah, completely understand that. And even with the sponsorship basically pays for our use of StreamYard and any other subscriptions we need to run the show. And we get very little actual cash in our pockets from it. You know, it's definitely not a cash grab of any kind.
No, not for me either. Yeah, I know it's been fun because really it's just the educational piece, and I'm learning a lot by having people on. So it's been really fun to like just learn as much as you can. Like I'm actually having for this Friday's Fraud Girl Friday, having one of the carriers that had a scam happen to them, and they're going to be popping on talking about how they caught it, how they actually delivered the freight where it was supposed to go. They pretty much weren't trusting any dispatcher, any brokers at that point, thinking like everybody was bad and got the freight where it needs to go. But luckily they were aware where a lot of carriers are just, it's like blatant red signs. Like, why did you ever believe this bad guy? Like it's insane. And they deliver it where they shouldn't deliver it to. So, because most of the time these bad guys are not actually in the truck. They're using good guys to move the freight to wherever they want to steal from. So I think that's the biggest thing is like educating on a carrier level, broker level. Like everybody needs to kind of know how they're doing it. So everyone's aware, but it's been fun.
Oh, absolutely. It's always been a joy doing this show. Not just for helping the industry, which I'm very passionate about, as you know, but also it's therapy for me. It really is because I work from home, okay, and the only creatures I speak to throughout the day are my cats and dogs. So being able to do a show helps me to talk to other people. It's completely different just talking on the phone to a broker trying to book a load. You know that's work. This is fun for me. This is all therapy for me. I love the hell out of this, and I think you're going to really find it therapeutic for yourself too.
Yeah, I think so too. And just being able to like, hey, I have a podcast. You want to hop on and let's talk. It's been really fun having that whole other realm of conversation. And so far I haven't had anybody tell me no. So it's been cool just to have anybody and everybody on. And then of course, all the editing that has to go into effect on the back end, but we're getting there.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't even know the first thing about editing. I really don't. I'm so busy between dispatching and the task force and other stuff. I'd rather just do it live. I mean, granted, I still spend about an hour, sometimes two, preparing for a show. Writing the descriptions and all that stuff. And that can be time consuming in and of itself. I can't imagine having to spend a couple more hours editing a 1 hour show. That would be
a lot.
Anywho, enough about, what are you talking about this Friday though on your show? What's your topic?
This Friday is going to be that carrier.
That's right. The carrier.
About his stuff.
It's Monday.
No, you're good.
Caffeine, folks.
It's okay. But I'm really excited about my August. I'm doing cybersecurity August, I guess. So having it where, I have different people on. I have NMFTA. Am I saying that right? NM, whatever it is. The National Motor, whatever, cybersecurity. Oh my God, they would kill me if I'm messing this up, but that's okay. I'm like, I can't, everybody has so many acronyms. You know how long it took me to remember how to say FMCSA? Like, it was ridiculous. You can ask my coworker, Mike. He was like, quit saying FMSCA. He's like, that's not right. So bless my heart.
I hear that all the time. I hear people do that all the time.
Or FMCA.
Yeah. You hear that too. I just gloss over it. I stopped correcting people. It's not worth it.
So
but as long as
go ahead.
No, as long as people are at least understand what the issues are and who they're talking about, everything's good.
Right.
Uh-oh. You hear me twice. Someone's got an echo somewhere.
It was echoing. I tried to mute, but I
think it was me, but I fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Good going, Kate. Just kidding.
Thanks, Jason. Appreciate you.
I'm having them on, and then like Nate Johnson, GLCS. They have a big, they do a lot for cybersecurity, and then I have two others that are popping on. So I have a whole month full of cybersecurity stuff because it's interesting because you don't really realize like how much the cybersecurity realm of fraud is like really the mecca of everything. Like, that's kind of how all the phishing attempts are happening and all the IP manipulation. Like, really, it is a cybersecurity issue. And I think a lot of people don't realize how vulnerable their information is. Like, if your TMS isn't backed up by a good enough server, if you're even like your vetting, onboarding, your tracking, all these companies that you hire for your tech, if you're not making sure that their cybersecurity levels are right, like, there goes all your information, and bad guys have access to everything. And so anyways, that's month of August. So I'm super excited about that.
And I love Nate. I had the opportunity to meet him at Matt's. Actually, I met you there too, in person for the first time. Boy, that what a great place that was.
Oh, he's the best.
I'm definitely going to go there again because the networking was just unbelievable. But anyway, you mentioned FMCSA. So let's go ahead and move into the topic of the day. You got a webinar coming up with Ken Riddle, the Director of Registrations over at FMCSA later this week. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, so basically, which he's been doing the speech really for Dale Prax at Broker Carrier Summit. He went on board with him. That's how I met him, was through Dale. And really, I just feel like there's not enough. I don't know if you're like me, but like, I'm not reading FMCSA's website to get all the updates. Like, I want to watch it on video form, or I want you to tell me it. I'm not going to be reading everything. So basically, that's what I want to do with our platform, is just make it where the anybody, carriers, brokers, shippers, whoever that's in Descartes network, my network, can really learn about the changes that are happening, because FMCSA really is trying to do a lot. Obviously, they have a long ways to go, and not all the problem is with them. But I think the efforts that they're taking from like step one is really going to make an impact, because they've already done they changed it where and really this was Dale Prax that did this, but they changed it where they're not using virtual addresses anymore. You're not able to register that way. And even the amount of fraud that came in was so much less on that front, on a brand new registration, to where all the bad guys had to pivot to buying like existing MCs and pivoting that way. So they're always going to come one step ahead, but if we can at least make it where the registration, the initial process is the actual carrier, then after that, that's why there's kind of platforms out there to see who's buying what and learning, even on my side, we're having to develop a lot of things to try to catch those carriers are selling, but not reporting it because they're being paid blah, blah amount extra to, hide everything. So pretty excited to see all the changes and learn more because he's going to be giving a lot of info out.
For those who want to register for that webinar, there are still seats left. It is free. The link is at the bottom of your screen. I also put it in the comments in Facebook and YouTube. So by all means, please go and check that out. And that is going to be on Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. How long do you think that's going to run? I'm guessing with Ken Riddle, it's probably going to be 2, maybe 3 hours.
I hope not. He said he can get through his whole thing in 45, but then I'm sure we'll have questions too. And because it is technically our monthly webinar, I have to go over some updates because we got some cool stuff coming into my care portal, which includes like a carrier facing profile. I mean, right now, a carrier can do is log in once they get a link, but going forward, we're coming out with like a kind of like their own platform so that they can see all the brokers in their network. They can update their profile. They can make sure their stuff's secure, connect their ELDs and kind of stay up to date on all their information. Because I think previously there was not a good way for carriers to update information, and it was very easy for them to get hacked and not even be able to check themselves and check their stuff. So now I think having that carrier facing platform really where they're able to log in and check in on things. Hopefully that will eliminate some stuff. And then also we make sure we're up to date on all their information because that's really, crucial as far as even brokers finding carriers and then carriers, having to be able to source brokers. So.
Well, last time we had you on, we were talking about your fraud guard program. And I understand you guys kicked out a big update on that too.
Oh yeah, big update. Really cool. So now you can look up a carrier's driver's phone number. And you can see like the history on a driver level. So have they tracked before? How are they tracking? What's their tracking compliance like? And I actually just had like a potential customer reach out to me today. So I was a little late to the show today because of it. But talked to him because he had a load stolen. Almost stolen. The bad actor, if he would have had the tracking and would have done the vetting and all that stuff, would have seen a lot. However, taking all that out of account, plugging that phone number in for who they were giving as the driver, you saw red signs all over the place. And even the one so it was a legitimate driver that picked up the load and they are delivering it, but even pulling up that legitimate driver's information. And then, cause even he's like, well, how do I know this guy's really going to deliver it? And we were able to pull up some information on him too. So seeing good and bad on drivers. And honestly, if they have never tracked before in the 15 years MacroPoint's been around, that's like, maybe they're great, but maybe they're first time drivers and I don't want them hauling, 40,000 pounds worth of, copper or whatever. So.
Well, they better have been working on some contract for the last 15 years, with a glowing recommendation from whoever that shipper was.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, it obviously is possible. It's pretty rare. So you're able to see that on a carrier and driver level. And then on top of that, having all these, like if they've ever spoofed information before or had any fraud guard alerts, you're able to see that. And then even seeing like if the capacity, like let's say they have, 5 ELDs connected, but they're trying to track on 15 loads. Well, obviously something's going on here. They're trying to maybe haul more on their trailers than they actually have trucks for or whatever. So kind of just knowing things, and it's not always saying that they're bad guys, but that's whenever I have enough information to where I can talk to this carrier and really find out the truth of what's going on. Because sometimes it's not just, black and white theft or fraud, but sometimes they're trying to put it on rail or they're trying to hold on to extra freight because they know it's going to be a slow period or whatever. And so this is a high paying load. They want to put it in their lot until they can deliver it and whatever. So there's a lot of, transportation is a tricky one because there's a lot of gray area. So.
Oh yeah. And as long as Kate and I have been dealing with fraud prevention on our end, we're still seeing new stuff happen all the dang time too. Mm-hmm. I got to tell you though, I have seen a resurgence of the guys who are hijacking DAT accounts again.
Yep.
Yeah, I've seen that go kind of quiet for a few weeks, and then it just exploded the end of last week. I've seen 2 other brokers get impersonated earlier today. I mean, my God, this is driving me insane.
What's crazy though is Dad, I heard them say, I think this was 2 weeks ago, I heard them say that they're seeing the carrier side getting hacked in more than the broker side, which to me doesn't really make sense, because it's like, well, I don't know. So that doesn't make sense to me. I feel like
no, because what can a carrier do in their portal versus a broker? I mean, a carrier can see loads, a carrier can file complaints, but that's about it.
And maybe they're trying to say that the reason why that's happening is because they're doing such a good job vetting people come in, but I don't know. Maybe they're doing really good. I have no idea, but I'm not seeing a decrease. I'm, like you said, I'm seeing an increase too. And brokers are definitely getting hacked. So that's why that cybersecurity is so important. Like, keep your stuff safe, change your passwords, quit for the love of God, clicking on a link and logging in. Like, come on, people. This is like elementary school, I feel like.
You know, when I was in the military, we called it CompuSec, which is short for computer security. And, password protection was the number one rule. One of the things that we are seeing both on carrier side and on the broker side are emails getting hacked. And that's one of the easiest ways that these guys are getting into and hijacking TMS systems, their DAT accounts, et cetera, et cetera. If you think you may have been compromised, one surefire way to check is to go into your settings in your Google account or your Outlook or whatever, and look for auto forwarding rules. If there is a rule there that you did not personally put in, you've been hacked. So please, by all means, delete those rules, change your password, and inform your IT department as quickly as possible. So that they can try to figure out if any others have been compromised. It also is a pretty darn good thing to change your password on a regular basis. It may be a pain in the tail. I get it. But it's something you really need to do. Another fellow veteran there chiming in. There's so much to fraud in the industry, and you can't pare it down to one general area that can stop it, whether it's computer security, whether it's fraud prevention at the broker level, fraud prevention at the carrier level, fraud prevention at the warehouse level. So much out there that really it takes a village in this case. But we need everybody on board. And that's the one thing the industry is having a hard time with.
Yeah, it takes a lot of education too. Like, there's people just don't understand. And I think even like the private sector, even though we're not like a federal sector, but you know what I mean, like the people outside of logistics, I think that's a lot of awareness too. I think just people talking to their relatives or whatever, just knowing what's going out there, because you never know who knows who, because there's a lot of, government wise, we need stuff passed, or like even on a education for like our police officers, like you'll call and make a report and they have no idea what they're doing. I mean, it's so rare that like one of these little small facilities are getting those type of phone calls. And I was at the Reliance Partners conference last week, and they were talking about how really where fraud was just mainly like those hot states. Now they're seeing it literally everywhere, because they're just targeting shippers. They're not really targeting hotspot areas or truck stops or whatever that are easier to steal from. They're really targeting just shippers. So it's more of a U.S. problem, less than a California, Texas, Illinois, that type of problem. So,
yeah, I've heard other people mention that too. We have been keying on the hardest hit states. We have been keying on the truck stops, so much so that truck stops are patrolling their own property on a regular basis to try to catch these things, and the crooks know it.
Yeah.
It makes sense that they shift into something that's easier to do. And I'll be perfectly honest, they're targeting, I think, the weakest link at this point. I think the shipper is the weakest link. Shipper does not live day to day with the threat of fraud. throughout their day-to-day life because they're too worried about making widgets and other stuff. And they just hand it off to a logistics manager who just hands it off to a broker. Oh, you guys deal with it.
Right.
If the shippers knew some very basic things they can do to help, then I think you would see a huge reduction in this problem in the industry. But you can't find a forklift operator who's willing to get off his butt and take a look at the side of the truck.
And to be fair, they don't get paid very much. So it's not
True.
like it's almost like a McDonald's job, like are they really going to care? No. I mean, they're not, this isn't a career path. This is a stepping stone for them to go wherever they want to go. They could care less about the freight and what happens with the freight. Because if they lose their job, they can just go find another minimum wage job. Right. I think that there's a lot of culture shift in that front too, where everyone wants their bottom dollar to be so low. Well, how much, especially if you're doing high value, high, risk freight, how much do you really care about your freight versus your people too? Because if you're not taking care of your people, you don't care about your freight. So don't act like you do. And I think just even those dock workers being educated on even like not even leaving the forklift. Like if you're seeing the doors, the bolts on the back of the doors being on the outside, like, and there's no, rivets or whatever, however it's supposed to look, I can show pictures and stuff. But if as a dock worker, if you recognize that, and there's so many times I've heard from dock workers being like, yeah, well, I thought it looked weird, but my job isn't to look at that. It's like, well, they should have some sort of incentive program as well, where maybe you don't increase their pay, but maybe you make it where, hey, if you spot a bad truck or whatever, if you spot something, you get lunch or whatever it could be. Like it could be something super small, but making it like an incentive and like something for them to look at, or like I spy whatever. And there's like a fun checklist. Like it could be very educational, very simple things that you can do that shippers just for whatever reason, just feel like they don't have to help. I don't know why.
I'm sure anyone in the warehousing industry who may be watching this at some point probably sits there and says, yeah, John, you're in transportation. You have no idea what we go through day to day. Folks, I was in warehousing for 15 years before I got in transportation. So don't give me that BS. There's a lot warehouses can do to help this problem. And if you really need a course in how to do it, feel free to call me. I only charge $100 an hour consulting. So go ahead and hit me up. But seriously, though, warehouses to me are the front line and the last line of defense. And if they are not pulling their weight, then they are at fault. Everyone's trying to pin this on the carrier. Everyone's trying to pin this on the broker. Why?
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get how warehouses are able to absolve themselves of responsibility in a cargo theft matter.
Correct. I agree. And whenever I was at that Reliance Partners thing too, they were strictly talking about that. Like your contracts better be where you have things written in there where if there's negligence on the shipper level, where they're not checking inventory for 6 months and then they get pilferaged and there's all these BOL manipulations, but you're not finding out about it for 6 months to a year. How is that the broker's fault? Like, how in the world would they know that this has happened whenever you sign clean bills? You did not say shortages. So there needs to be some and honestly, that type of stuff takes the big boys out there to make that happen. And I know like Nolan Transportation is one that I've talked to, and they've changed all their agreements with all their shippers to make it be stricter like that. And it's going to take the big boys making changes with shippers before it happens to little guys, because the little guys are very scared about losing shippers and going out of business because of it. So they're willing to do whatever just to keep them happy.
Well, is it a matter of keeping your customer happy, or is it a matter of having to deal with a claim for $100,000 a pop? I mean, to me, the math just doesn't add up. At any point of the equation.
Yeah, it can though. I mean, like I said, I did copper and electrical back in the day. You know this. And we would have thefts or whatever ever so often, and it was like just write a check and move on. I mean, it wasn't worth it because we would still get freight. But that's a lot of times it was where we should have pushed back, because on the shipper end they had clear indications that stuff happened and they just ignored it and they just loaded the guys anyways. Or we would call them and say, this should be exactly what the truck looks like. We have pictures. This is what the guy looks like. They're checking driver's license. They're doing fingerprints, and you still didn't even double check things. that should be on you. So I think that it's very hard for those small mom and pop brokerages, but the big guys are going to be what's going to make the change. So they need to update some contracts and strong arm them so that way everybody else can jump aboard.
I was talking to an interesting group. We've actually had them on the show a couple of months ago on site. That's SIGHT. They have a system of AI-driven cameras and whatnot at shippers. And what they're doing is they're developing a check-in process that links a load back to a broker, to a specific driver, et cetera, et cetera. When the driver checks in, he has to do facial recognition to verify who he is and then put in his load number. And the broker gets the image of the driver. It's a nice little connecting tool that they're building. I think they're starting off with automating the check-in process, and then their intent is to develop into a fraud prevention tool. So I have some high hopes for that group and their vision for what they're trying to do, because I think they've have got a great idea, and they've got the capital to realize it. But they just need people to start paying attention to it. I really like what they're doing.
I'll have to reach out to them because that's key. Them and like Genlogs, like both of them coming together, and even like what Genlogs is seeing on the port side, and they're now checking that, and who's all doing things on the port end and rail yards. They're wanting to get in that. I mean, that's key. That's huge.
Oh, I love Genlogs. I love those guys.
Yeah.
I'm constantly impressed with everything that these guys have been capable of doing, and their AI-driven camera platform. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see a couple weeks ago them talking about this one truck that has had 4 different carrier names on the side of it over the course of a couple of months? And they put an alert. It was right before the 4th of July holiday. They put it out there. Hey, we've seen these guys.
Oh, his internet went out. Or is it me?
It's him. That happened earlier.
God, sometimes I hate my internet connection. I've really got to do something about my ISP. I really
It was
do.
Hilarious. So you're like this, like in the fighting ring. You look like you're about to fight someone. It's pretty funny.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I disconnect again, Kate, take over. I'll be back as quick as I can.
We'll just keep talking.
But seriously though, what they were highlighting this truck that they have seen. It had damage across the top of it on the passenger side, and they show a picture of it. The same truck with a different carrier ID every time they see it.
That's crazy.
And it's like, you've got to be kidding me.
Right.
Shippers.
Was a cardboard on the side of the truck?
No. Actually, I think they were decals. But
wow.
Regardless,
yeah,
that's one of the great advantages of Genlogs is that you can see all that. You put in truck identifier info, and it pulls up all the photos. You'll see if they've changed, and if they change all the time. Trucks. What was that?
They pulled up my trucks. It was super cool.
That's really cool. Well, and that's why, like with MCP, they do the VIN verification because that's like a lot hard. I mean, that's like a federal crime, manipulating a VIN. So VIN verification, that's kind of the last thing that they do, and hopefully they don't start doing that. I guess. Hopefully, I'm not giving ideas out there, but I think that being paired up with Genlogs, we're working on an integration hopefully soon, where being able to do the VIN verification, verify that this is where the picture was taken at. Verifying that with a Genlogs location driving by, like having all your different pieces, and then plus having macro point tracking the ELD, because there's obviously some places where Genlogs just isn't at. So having kind of the whole trifecta of everything, I think is just like, I don't know how you would be able to infiltrate heavier than that. So
there's a lot of great tools out there, but anytime I talk to a broker and then they ask my opinion on what works the best, I always say a layered defense.
Yeah.
It has to be a layered defense because any electronic process you have, whether it's MCP or highway or RMIS, whatever electronic system you use to vet carriers, it's only the start. It's not the end. And if you're using that as a one-stop shop, as much as I love you guys, especially you, Danielle,
yeah,
it's not a final solution. It's not a total solution.
No, for sure.
And
nobody has a silver bullet. And I think on top of that, your processes need to be in place. Like there's some things that any tool can't do. Nobody can understand a voice. Nobody can make an extra phone call to a different number and verify this. You know what I mean? Like so I think you probably saw this online, but I wrote a SOP on exactly processes to do on high value freight, how you would handle it a little bit differently, your day in, day out operations. And I just think copy and paste that thing and make it be more of your, however your freight is, but on every level. And I'm working on one on as a carrier having SOPs, and you have to help me, John, with this because I need to send it to you. But how do you vet your brokers, and how do you know that this load is legit or not? And then like, if you do have a situation where it's a, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word, where they change a blind shipment. If it is a blind shipment, how do you verify that? Because you do need to verify those. That's how they're getting in, is these stupid blind shipments that for whatever reason people still do. It's so weird to me. Blind shipments, that's how they're getting in. So that call I had earlier today, from that potential customer or whatever, that's what it was, a blind shipment. They're trying to get them to go to California instead of Arizona. So it's been, anyways, there's a lot that you can do, and just without even having any platform.
Yeah, I tried to sit there and come up with a good way to describe a blind shipment to a carrier that I was talking to, who was talking about having me dispatch for him. And one particular case that I can recall off the top of my head, that load that we hauled, was steel. This steel was being returned to the originator, but the manufacturer was able to turn around and resell that steel to another customer who was half the distance away, instead of bringing it all the way back. So the original BOL had it going from the customer back to the manufacturer, and then they made a blind BOL to mask who the manufacturer, I'm sorry, they made the blind BOL where the pickup was the manufacturer delivering to the other customer. And the reason why that was acceptable was because the second customer was accepting of a lower grade of steel. So they didn't have to sit there and ship it all the way back and ship it back out again, etc. That makes sense to me. If I can connect the dots from a supply chain standpoint to something like that, okay, I can accept a blind BOL in those cases. So anytime I book a load and it turns out to be a blind BOL, that's the very first thing I do. Connect the freaking dots. If I can connect the dots as a dispatcher and see how it is a blind BOL, then okay, I'm comfortable with it. But drivers, I will tell you right here and now, if you're told it's a blind shipment, do not throw out the original BOL. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. Because if you turn out to be having a stolen load in the truck, how do you know where you're supposed to go with it? Where is it really supposed to go? And look for help. Please find help so that you can best determine how to proceed if you think your load happens to be a stolen cargo.
So with that being said, okay, so I have a question. So whenever you have that happen, and so in that case, the receiver was then the shipper, which to me that does add up. Like at least the receiver is still involved. A carrier could technically call that receiver and say, hey, I know this is happening. I'm confirming that this is happening. This is why you're not receiving it. Right? I mean, the receiver would be involved really regardless of what the BOL, of a blind shipment. The receiver is technically the buying customer, so they should know what's happening. Is that right? Correct. Or is there different circumstances?
I would say so. Now, there are double blind shipments where the shipper and the receiver are not supposed to know each other. I see those typically when you're transferring equipment, bobcats, track loaders, whatever. I see that when you're moving equipment, sometimes from auction houses. That's another time that I see it. Again, if I can piece it together as to why it's a blind shipment, then I'm okay. But damn it, I'm staring at that original BOL, and I'm going to piece it together before I tell my driver to go anywhere.
I feel like there's still a way to call and verify, right? Like I feel like even if you receive that, if I'm talking to a broker, I almost want to be like, okay, I get you're saying this, but I am calling a facility and they're confirming me this. Who do I talk to that's your customer to confirm this? Is that like a ridiculous ask to say to a driver?
To say to a broker, I seriously doubt it. I seriously doubt it, because in that particular case, the broker actually did say, hey, it's a double blind shipment. This is why. This is what's going on. And I'm like, okay, why doesn't every broker do this when they say it's a blind shipment? Why do I have to chase it down myself? So if you're a broker and you're dealing with a blind shipment, you need to be able to explain why, especially if you don't want the carrier calling around to figure it out themselves. You got to be able to explain it. And if you can't explain it,
I know.
Don't be surprised if they call.
I know. I'm still so surprised if that's even a thing. Whenever I was a broker, we refused to do blind shipments. So it's wild to me. I feel like it makes you it feels like you're a carrier would be less trusting of you because of it too. So it's like, I don't know. That's a very weird situation. It's crazy to me. It's still a thing. Like there should be a different way to handle those. But if you're backing up to another U-Haul truck on a blind shipment, if you're backing up to a U-Haul truck to deliver it, I'm going with that's going to be a theft situation. That's not a that's not a blind shipment.
Yeah. That's just about a given. I think the last cargo theft case I worked, that was exactly what happened. Load picked up in Pennsylvania. It was supposed to go to, I think, North Carolina originally, and it wound up going to New Jersey. And the address he was supposed to deliver to had 2 box trucks sitting in front of it, and he had to transfer it into the 2 box trucks. And thankfully the guy took pictures, and they were rented trucks, so we were able to identify who rented the truck, where the truck went, and the rental company had trackers on those trucks. So we were able to find the trucks, and we found the trucks located in New York City, and NYPD seized the cargo. So thank you, NYPD, for being proactive on that. Well, we were able to give them real-time intel.
But like California, for instance, you know how they don't have to have like a surname or whatever? They can just do a first name. There's like so many people with the same exact name. What about like when that happens, like and they're renting a U-Haul and they're trying to find it? And like it's just, all of it is so crazy. All the different loopholes that people can find and have found. It's crazy.
Wow, Jeff, you got to be more concise there, buddy. Yeah, because now I can't see Danielle. That's okay.
I'm still here. I'm here.
But to his point, with how ever evolving this problem is, back to basics. I agree with Jeff. We got to go back to basics and understand how to audit ourselves, how to educate ourselves, etc., and how to deal with this stuff. Because if we go back to a checklist mentality, much like the military does, we go to a checklist mentality, and then we actually execute that checklist, then you've got a 95% solution.
Yeah.
But damn it, you got to follow it. You can't skip a step.
No.
Anytime I talk to a broker who had a stolen cargo, I run through their process. Did you do all this? No, we actually skipped this. It was the end of the day. We were trying to get it done. We were afraid of losing the load. And it's like, guys. Yep. So you're afraid of having a service failure with your customer. So you instead take the $100,000 claim for the stolen cargo.
Right. It
does not make sense.
Yeah. And like I heard of one customer, this was a while back, but they were saying that they just so happened to they never do high value freight. They did not have a process in place because they never did it. They always did like paper or something like that. And they just the customer's like, hey, we happen to have this high value freight. Would you mind taking it for us? And they were like, sure. And I was like, well, they probably offered it to you because they knew they could get it cheaper with you. But whatever, that's besides the point. The load was stolen, which was crazy. That it was their one time that they ever did it, and then load got stolen. But if you do not have a process in place, or you are not educated in handling that type of freight, you do not need to say yes. Like that relationship got ruined because they didn't know how to handle it. I mean, there's a reason why you get paid more for high value, high risk freight. There's a reason why there's different processes in place. So yeah, it's just insane out there. That's why there's so many shows like this,
Forgive me. I'm going back through Jeff's comment just to make sure I got everything off of it. Yeah, I have to sit there and say, as an industry, we have become complacent. And that is part of why we're going through the trouble we're going through today. But I think it's only part of it. I think COVID exposed the transportation industry as a prime target for international organized crime. And they slowly worked their way in where we couldn't notice them until later. And once they finally did that, here we are. Exponential growth. Nothing we can do. It's a cancer. We're having trouble even cutting it out versus beating it. I mean, geez, this is crazy. And apparently, I think Amazon is at my door.
You're good. What I was going to say too is I think that really these organization rings are doing a lot more than just logistics. Like that, the California, it was the LA, whatever, that whoever it was that stopped that. This was a couple months ago. I think we talked about this last time I was on here. But they had that, so $80 million worth of freight that they found. There was sex trafficking. There was like all this stuff. Like they're doing a lot more crime than just our industry most of the time. It's like a overwhelming different amount of things. And I think really a lot of these people started in the banking industry and infiltrated there, realized that they cracked down on them, moved into an easier industry where they could learn things. And also we do so much offshoring on dispatching services and things like that, that we've really opened the doors to just infiltrate and know all of our ins and outs of things. So
got to turn my mic back on. Yeah, I'm trying to. Okay, I got Chihuahuas, folks. Okay, I mean they got the confidence of 10,000 men. All right, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to throw a comment up on the screen, and I'm going to have to give Axel a little bit of credit on this particular one. I started dispatching 5 years ago after my carrier company went under at the start of COVID, and like Axel said, I could see it. I could see it early on, to the point where in 2021, the carriers I dispatched for, we elected to go and chase these bad guys. We knew what brokers were doing it. AGD Logistics, Jacksonville Freight Solutions. There were a few others. We knew which ones were doing it. We would intentionally book their loads to deny them revenue. And it worked very well for about a year and a half. Sorry, what?
I said it was fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. After 12 months of doing that, we grossed over $102,000 in extra monies among 6 trucks.
Wow. Just
by catching them and reporting them to the original broker, and the original broker cutting them out of the equation and paying the real carrier. And that's why I got my nickname, because the extra money were the bounties, and I was the bounty hunter because I was their dispatcher. So it worked out. Life was good. And we watched them evolve. We watched them evolve together. And if you are still having a hard time identifying these, a lot of these scams that are out there, you may be in the wrong industry.
I was going to say, you're not educating yourself. That's for sure.
Definitely not. And I know I don't have a massive following here on this show, and I'm not out here for ratings, but, folks, if you're not doing something to educate yourself as to what's going on out there, and by the way, it's changing every freaking day. If you don't stay educated on this, you will get got. When you get got, it's going to be awfully expensive. And it's not if, it's when. It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Danielle,
Yeah.
I know you've got a very busy schedule, so I don't want to take too much of your time. Again, I'm throwing up the link for the webinar with Ken Riddle on Thursday of this week. Please be sure to register and attend. I know I'm going to be there, and I am so looking forward to this. This is going to be a fun one. Is there anything else you'd like to go ahead and plug while you're here?
Really, that's honestly it. Like, I appreciate you having me on. I know I always reach out to you whenever I have like a big, important webinar, I guess. I've been trying to make it where MCP has our webinars focus on like industry and knowledge and educating and all that, all those fun things. Because I think there's just so much in logistics that people don't know that's going on. I know whenever I was just like a mom and pop broker, I had no idea all these things were happening. I was just in my own bubble. So this is a kind of a way to get all the word out. So no, I appreciate you having me on and being able to spread the word about the webinar coming up this Thursday, because I think what FMCSA is doing, everybody needs to know what is happening, because I think there is enough changes to where if you don't know, you're going to be like, what in the world is happening? And then plus kind of more of a reassurance of like, okay, this is happening, they're trying. And then hopefully maybe we can even get some more suggestions on like a larger platform that can, maybe they can take back and make more improvements. Who knows? So I appreciate you having me on.
Well, Danielle, it's always great to have you here. You're definitely a friend of the show, and I'm sure we'll see you again in the not too distant future. You're like a bad penny. You always turn up, but that's okay. We'd love to having you around. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to us. And I'm very much looking forward to Thursday. In the meantime, folks, whether you're new in the industry or you've been around a while, managing your costs is one of the best defenses to keep your business alive as an owner-operator, and no one does it better than AccuBid Pro.
Tired of spending hours bidding on loads and second-guessing your profits? Introducing AccuBid Pro, the mobile app designed for the everyday owner-operator. We simplify load bidding, making it fast, accurate, and stress-free. Know your operating costs up front to ensure every load is profitable. Plus, for a limited time, enjoy a 30-day free trial. Stop guessing and start earning. Download AccuBid Pro today, available now in the App Store. Bid better with AccuBid Pro.
Kate, you got any closing thoughts for the day?
Yeah, I gotta say, I really liked the ad with the music. I thought that one was cool. I just like the music. The ad itself is cool, but the music just makes it way better.
Oh man, this is going to be a wild week. I can already feel it. It's hot as hell here in Florida, and when I'm saying it's hot, it really means something. I think the heat index today is 115. So it's kind of like how the Mid-Atlantic was when they got broiled about a month ago. But man, it's not even comfortable to go to the beach right now. That's how bad it is. That sucks. Anyway. Folks, stay safe out there. There's so much going on. Stay informed. Make sure that you are taking the necessary steps to stay educated. One organization that can help that out is going to be the Freight Fraud Task Force. We will be getting more information out about how to join the task force in coming weeks. So please stay tuned for that. As you all know, we are live every Monday, 1 p.m. Central Time on all the Lounge Media Group social media outlets. Please check us out. If you've got an issue going on and you need some help, please contact Kate at kprice@stopthescampodcast.com or myself, Jay Cantera at stopthescampodcast.com. And we'll be happy to help in any way that we can. It's a hot one. If you are a maintenance manager and you think to yourself, hey, you know what? AC is a nicety. We don't have to worry about that now. Why don't you get in one of your trucks and live in it for a week, and then let's see how you feel about it then. Okay? Take care of your drivers. Take care of yourselves. And whatever you do, don't let scammers take you for a ride. We'll see you next week.